That's what it means by taming one's mind. Because, of course, right now probably, and then for many years to come probably, and for me like forever, I guess, it's more like an intellectual level. Yeah, when we talk about the truth and all, it's more of like an intellectual level. But as you go do it together with the meditation and all, if you practice properly, correctly, and with patience, then you not only it remains in an intellectual level, but it kind of like seeps in your whole being, and then you that probably is truly going closer to the truth. And when that happens, mind gets naturally tamed. You don't need a whip, to tame mind. You don't need a certain tools to torture your mind. It actually means to move closer to the truth. So as you move closer to the truth, then your mind gets naturally tamed, trained, subdued, conquered, whatever you want to call it. So the whole Buddhist path, whole Buddhist path is about understanding the truth, realizing the truth, and getting accustomed to the truth. Now, truth becomes very important as well. Just as I said that mind is so important, truth becomes very important as well. Buddha Shakyamuni left the palace and his royalty and everything in the search for the truth. I think it's important to keep that in your mind. So if you, as you understand truth more, as you get accustomed, getting accustomed that you can't do just through the intellectual, analysis and all. You need to do together with the meditation, and you get accustomed to the truth, then mind gets naturally tamed. So, as a Buddhist practitioners, let's say, if you think that you are like a path dweller, then your sole job, your only job that you have is to understand the truth and get accustomed to the truth through listening to the teachings, through contemplating the teachings, and through, most importantly, meditation. Yeah? Now, when we talk about the path, Buddhist path, then it's very important to know the view, meditation, and action. The view, meditation, and action. It's important because without the view, meditation, and actions, without them, you'll have no path. View, meditation, and action makes the path, Buddhist path. So therefore, it's important to know. But again, view, meditation, and action is a big topic. Talking from which yana or vehicle, the Sanskrit word is yana. From which yana point of view or which vehicle point of view you are talking from which school's point of view, which instructions and pit instructions you are following, and then talking from that point of view, then view, meditation, action is taught differently. But the fundamental principle will be same. So it's a big topic, just keep that in mind. I thought maybe this time I'll talk about view, meditation, and action. I was thinking about, what to teach. I was thinking about 12 interdependent links, shamatha and vipassana meditation and all. But they are more like a specific. Those things are more specific ones. I thought maybe it's important to give sort of an overall view of the Buddhist path. So this is the topic that I'm going to talk about, the view, meditation, and action. And I'm going to go through very briefly, okay, we don't have time also, and then, for me also there's lots of difficulties because English is not my first language. So I have to think in Tibetan, and then translate it in my mind to English, and then, I don't know, it all depends on how I will be able to communicate. And also, that is one part. Another part is that my mind is so shallow. I have no knowledge, no experience, I'm not a scholar. So there's only so much thought that I can pull out from my mind. So, but I thought I'll talk from the sutra point of view. No, not the Tantra and Vajrayana, no, I'm not going to go there. The sutra point of view, and particularly sticking to the Mahayana point of view. So the view, view. The Sanskrit word here is drishti, and Tibetan is tawa, view. So, it actually means, it's, the other words for it is viewpoints. What's your viewpoint, right? Viewpoint. Your beliefs, your outlook, the view means, your belief, basically, let's say, your belief, your viewpoints. And we all have them. We all have our viewpoints and, our beliefs. So many of them, not just one. We have, accumulated a lot through our teachers, lots of different kinds of beliefs. We have accumulated lots of viewpoints through our political leaders, religious leaders, and so on and so forth. Too many of them, societal beliefs, too many of them. And the view is kind of like important, right? When you look outside, when you look to the world, and when you relate to the world, you do that, it gets filtered by these beliefs and views, and you do that so through your beliefs, your viewpoints, and so on and so forth. And also the whole world, operates on the basis of beliefs, viewpoints, and so on and so forth. So the viewpoint is quite a big thing. Even if you want to know someone, of course there are many layers of getting closer to that person. You can't just go and ask, what's your viewpoint? But ultimately, I'm sure that you'll like to know what he or she believes, what cultural, it could be cultural belief or religious belief or so on and so forth. That's how you try to know other person. What's your belief? What's your viewpoints? What's your, so on and so forth. So what's Buddhist viewpoint? What's Buddhist? What do Buddhists believe? That's what we are asking here. Now here, when we talk about the view, then first of all, in Buddhism, we have to look at the beliefs that we already have. Okay, the beliefs that we already have. We have to look onto them. And we are not, of course, probably if needed, you can also look into the beliefs that you accumulated in this lifetime. But no, that's not most important thing. The most important things are the beliefs that we are naturally born with. There are beliefs, there are viewpoints we are born with, that we naturally have, that we have carried onto this life from the past lives. Those are the most complicated, problematic beliefs. The cause of our dissatisfactions, our sadness, our suffering, those beliefs that we are born with. So we have to look into them. And it's not something that's very complicated or anything like that. It's very, you can know yourself also, you have those beliefs. For example, believing things as permanent, though they are impermanent in nature. That is also beliefs that we have. When you moved into this room, yeah, and then now you are sitting here listening to me, you probably look around and you probably think this is the same room that you entered, right? We have that. Of course, we know that things change and all, but we have to look into very subtle beliefs, and you will find that you do believe things as permanent, though they are impermanent. No, this is not the room that you enter in. This is not the room that you enter into. That has changed, that has passed, moved, right? Because from the very subatomic level to the very, many things have moved and changed. It's not the same. It's new, fresh. Of course there is a decaying that is going on, but nevertheless it's always new and fresh. But we don't think like that. You look at the mirror and you think, it's the same you. Yeah? And you know your moles, because you think that this is the same person. If it is not there, then probably you will freak out, but you think, you get more relaxed because you think that it's the same me that I saw yesterday and the day before yesterday and so on and so forth. There is this subtle belief, that we have, and it causes a lot of pain. You have to know that. Because of those beliefs, it causes a pain, because you are not able to accept the impermanence, because of those subtle beliefs that we have. And there are also beliefs such as, thinking something as pleasurable, when in reality it's painful. That we all have and must have experienced. Many things that we thought is pleasure has changed and become a torment. It's tormenting us, right? It changes. The nature of the samsara is suffering, that's what we say. And the suffering you have to understand in many different levels. Because when we hear the word suffering, that we have a thing, we think about the headache and all these things. There are very subtle level of sufferings. And when you understand that, then everything that we think is pleasurable in its nature is actually I don't know, dissatisfactory and painful. And it is important to know that, because only when you accept it, recognize it, then you will be able to accept it, isn't it? And there are also beliefs such as, thinking something as solid one. We never think that it's made out of so many atoms. I don't know, we are not trained to look into that. Maybe our mind is trying to save ourselves, to not to give you shock, probably. But we take things as solid one. Here is 1 mile sitting, solid 1 mile. We don't think about, how many atoms, that came together, and so many small things came together and made it into miles, right? We don't look into this. We think this table is solid one. There's so many things. Those are sort of the beliefs that we have. And the mother of all these are known as the wrong views, by the way, in Buddhism. And the mother of all the wrong views is believing in the self, that I exist. The most problematic, the root cause of all the dissatisfactions and sadness is believing that self truly exists. I exist. I Dukkha Tenzin, and of course you give yourself an identity, name, adjectives, and so on and so forth. I did that and this and that. So many mental ornaments that you put onto it. And you truly believe that this self, I exist. And not only that, that is known as the self of individual person. Not only that, we create self to everything. When you think that this table truly exists, you have created a self, for this table. Of course, the table is inanimate object. It doesn't have the capacity to think, right? It doesn't have the capacity to think. It's not conscious. But never, in your mind, you have created the self for the table. Everything, when you look around, when you think that it truly exists, independently, truly exists, you have created the self for the whole phenomenon. So there is the self of individual person and self of the whole phenomena. And now we have to examine it, and we have to analyze it. And there are many different ways to do that, but today I thought maybe I'll introduce a very simple way to analyze it. So you think that I exist, this I, Dukkha Tenzin, or whatever name that you have given. You truly believe that I exist, truly exist. Then you have to ask question, where does it exist? Where does it remain? Where is this I? Is it on your body, or is it in your mind? Where does it remain? Where is this I? And you can't be thinking that I exist, but not on this body and not in the mind. There's somewhere else. No, you can't, right? When you have some pain, or if you are sick, you say that I'm sick. Not I is not somewhere else. I'm sick. It has to be, on the body or on the mind. So you have to look into this body and mind. Okay, if the I is on the body, then where exactly it is. Is your skin eye? Is your flesh eye? Is your hair eye? Is your bones eye? Where is this eye? If you analyze in that way, then you will not find eye on the body. You know, bone is bone, and so on and so forth. If you say that skin is eye, then let's say that you get rid of your skin, then does that mean that you will get rid of eye? No, right? So it's not exactly on the skin, not on the flesh, not on the bones, and so on and so forth. You scan whole body. Where exactly is eye? You will not find eye. And if you say your mind is eye, let's say, oh, okay, body is not eye. I'm skipping many things, okay, because I'll probably be boring you. Let's say that your mind is I. Then, there are six consciousnesses. Do you believe in like six eyes? No, you think there's only one eye, right? That's the most problematic belief. Because you think there's only one eye, it has to be somewhere. So, is eye consciousness eye? And so on and so forth, you just analyze. No, you can't say eye consciousness is eye and then rest is not. No, you can't say that. And even if you say that mind consciousness is I, mind consciousness is just the labels that you have put that I. It's just a label. Mind consciousness is just to know. Just to know. It just know. Why you add it, why you add and say it's I? Its sole job is to just to know, to recognize things. And even if you look into this mind consciousness, where exactly can you point and say this is I? There is no. Mind doesn't have shape. Mind is just an illusion. It doesn't have shape, it doesn't have color, it has no horns and no tails, nothing. You cannot pinpoint and then say this is I. There is nothing there to point at and say this is I. So in that way, if you scan and analyze, you will not find I. I is the biggest illusion that we have. And it is the root cause of our suffering, sadness, dissatisfaction, and so on and so forth. And it doesn't exist. Now, let's say we are I'm just assuming that, okay, you say that I doesn't exist, but the phenomenon exists because I can see, I can touch, I can feel. I have body. You say that I doesn't exist, but the body does. Body exists. Then also you have to analyze it. There are many different ways of analyzing it. The simple way is, let's imagine, you have to use imaginations. Let's separate everything. Skin, bones, flesh, veins, blood, everything, let's say you separate it. And, what do you call that? Arrange it in front of you. Now where's the body? Which one is body? Was the skin that you were saying is the body? Was the bones that you were saying the body? Everything is spread out. It was just an illusion. It came together, and then you put on the label, body, one body. You don't say I have two bodies, right? You don't think that you only have one body, and you spread it out, and try to find your body. No, you cannot find your body. And okay, yes, let's say I'm assuming that you say that okay, body doesn't exist, but the part of it does. Then let's look at the part of it. Let's say you say that finger exists. Finger exists. Let's say we'll take one finger. Clean up all the things in front of you. Now put that finger in front of you. It has so many parts. Skin, joints, nails, so on and so forth. Spread everything up. Now where is finger? Which one is finger? That also disappeared. That also became just a label. And again, you can go deeper and deeper. Say that you think that finger doesn't exist, but the nail does. Nail exists. You crush it into powder. Crush the nail into powder, and then spread it. Where's the nail? It was just a label. And then now you probably will say, okay, nail doesn't exist, but the fragment of the nail exists. They say the fragment exists. Now you can go deeper and deeper and deeper, and then you come to a subatomic levels where everything is just, atoms. And where is that fragment now? That fragment was also another level. Now you say that that atom exists. You can go deeper and deeper into that also. Now, some schools in Buddhism, particularly the Vaivashika and Sautrantika schools, they believe there is a subatomic particle which they call chamegi dulten, means partless particles. They say partless, you cannot cut more. There's certain limit that you have come to that you cannot cut it further away. Partless particle, they say. They say that truly exists. Some schools in Buddhism, they say that. But in Mahayana Buddhism, no. They will say, they will go further into that, which is claimed as a partless particle, and they'll say it can go deeper. And ultimately, of course, I'm not going to go through because that is the most challenging philosophical part. And that will need a lot of time and energy for us to really understand. Ultimately, in the Mahayana, comes to the point that you find nothing. Okay? You find nothing. You don't find anything. And that not finding anything, simply put, very simply put at this point, is emptiness. That is the reality of the whole phenomenon, the emptiness. You will not find anything. It's important to point that. You will, when you reach to the emptiness, it's not like you find something. You don't find anything, and that's the emptiness. So here you can see that everything that is around you, everything, inside and outside, is just labels. Just labels. You have not analyzed it at all. You have not looked into them at all, properly. If you looked into them and really, with a very sensitive mind and really patience and focused mind, if you really analyze, then you will see that everything is in its true nature emptiness. Everything else is just labels. Now here, one important thing that needs to be understood. Jizun Sakyapa Trabhagyasen said that Zimba Chungna Tawa Min, which means if there is a grasping, then it is not the view. If there is a grasping, that is not the view. So we are talking about the view right now. What does Buddhists believe, right? We are talking about that. And Zimba Chuna Tawa Min, if there is a grasping, if there is an attachment, if there is a clinging, then it is not the view. And we just right now we are just going intellectually, just through our using our this not so stable, very jumpy mind. We are using it. It's not something that you can rely upon. But if you go together with meditation and all, probably you'll be able to build confidence in this emptiness. But right now it's just very gross, very first we have this attachment. When you truly believe that it exists, there is an attachment, there is a clinging to this self. And when you analyze it, let's say, you sort of let go of that clinging, of this self, I, let's say. But you had a clinging upon your body, and so on and so forth. But you analyzed it, and further and further and further, you found that everything was just labels, names, and all. But there was no, truly existing independent phenomena that you could find. Let's say that you were able to let go of the attachment to the body also, but you were attached to the parts, and then you analyzed. Let's say that you were able to let go of the parts also, so on and so forth, till the subatomic levels. Let's say you were able to let go of everything, all the labels that you were attached upon, clung upon. Now, when you analyze the subatomic particles also, let's say, and then you reach to the point that you find nothing. Let's say, your attachment to the subatomic particles also, like you were able to let go. Now, if there is attachment